Hello, I am Kennedy Brown, and this is my Objections to the New Testament vlog for Reading the New Testament, Assignment 7-2. I have 3 objections that I have found on the internet that I would like to discuss and refute. So my first objection is the fact that the New Testament is not scientifically proven. And I feel like if you change the wording of that a little bit, it becomes true. I don't think that the New Testament is scientifically provable. In order for something to be scientifically provable, it has to be measurable, repeatable, and observable. Well, we can't measure or repeat history. We can observe it, but we cannot measure or repeat it. So applying the scientific method to the New Testament is kind of like trying to play Monopoly while reading the instructions for a twister. It's just not going to work. I think about the fact that God does not, nor did he ever obey the laws of science. Jesus walked on water. That was not scientifically possible. God stopped the earth from moving to keep the sun in the sky for a longer period of time. That's not scientifically provable either. But he did those things. He did those things miraculously. So to try to apply the scientific method to the Bible is kind of, just doesn't make sense. If you also think about the Mount St. Helens volcanic eruption in the 80s, I learned this actually at the Creation Museum. The lava, when it rolled down the mountain, it took 3 days to create something in the crust of the earth that scientists thought could only take millions of years. So right there in and of itself, it shows that scientists do not know everything. They think they know everything, but they don't know everything. And God is more than able to create something that looks millions of years old, but actually is not, because it only took 3 days to create something that looked like millions of years old. So yeah, this New Testament is not scientifically provable. My second objection that I found is that the Bible has been translated too many times to be true. People who use this point usually use the analogy of the game telephone, when a bunch of people line up and someone gives one message and then it's passed along person to person, and when it gets to the end it's something completely different, most of the time gibberish. Well, in order for that to apply, you have to, let me say this correctly, you'd have to have only the latest version of the message to translate from. So with the Bible, we have old manuscripts. We have the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Dead Sea Scrolls is probably a copy of a copy of a copy of the original, if not even more closely related. So you would have to learn Greek, Hebrew, or Aramaic, but you could go back and study the old manuscripts. We don't have just the latest translation to interpret from. We have the old documents from Israel that we can look at and study. So that just doesn't apply. That doesn't apply. The last objection that I found was that the Gospels are fictional accounts or are legends. It took me about a minute and a half to come up with an argument against this, and basically it boils down to looking at the genre. The genre of the Gospels is a Greco-Roman historical biography style. It's not folklore. It's not a poem. It's not, anything that could possibly make it fictional. It was written in a certain style that is a historical narrative. So, you wouldn't read a newspaper the way that you read a poem. That would just sound like a silly poem that doesn't rhyme. So you have to apply the correct genre to what you're reading. So yes, thank you so much for watching, and have a great Christmas. Goodbye.